Hello there. Welcome back to the Dark Moon Mysteries, where we're going to explore hidden truths that mainstream wellnesses won't touch. I'm your hostess, and I'm Kate Sylvanus, and I am recording from the English canals in my boat. So you're going to have to forgive little lack of studio, because we ain't got a studio. Got my nice new microphone, so it's got something that's high-tech, but the rest of it maybe not so much. Okay, so today we're diving deep into something that's probably hitting way too close for home for most of you. All right, so if this is not your thing, just keep going. Burnout. Right, it's a burnout. Are you tired? Are you feeling drained all the time? You wake up tired, go sleep tired, you wander around in a daze. We're not talking about corporate wellness seminars or pastel Instagram posts about self-care and Sunday baths. Gods, a bath. I can have cold showers these days, but no baths. We're talking about the real deal, right? The kind of burnout that leaves healers, empaths, conscious creators feeling like they're running on fumes while everyone around them seems to have endless energy. All right. I don't know actually many people with endless energy, but they seem to have a lot more energy than perhaps me. Okay, so this is what we're looking at today. So here's the thing that's nobody's telling you. You're not broken, right? You're not. You know, it's not something you can't take. You've tried the vitamins, you've tried the exercise, you've tried no exercise, you've tried all the bits, and you're starving, right? Starving energetically. And today we're going to unpack exactly what that means and what you can do about it. Okay, so let's start with some uncomfortable truth-telling, shall we? How many times have you been told that burnout is just part of the journey? And that if you're exhausted, you're just not managing your energy properly. Or, yeah, one of my favorites is, you need to set better boundaries. Or, have you tried positive thinking? Or maybe some vitamin B. Okay, I know these people mean well. I do. I hear the sincerity that they generally want you to stop feeling this way. Whether they want to stop feeling this way because you're making them feel bad. But I'm not knocking boundaries either, because that's important, right? But here's what's really happening. You've been taught that your exhaustion is a character flaw. How many times have you thought, I hope you haven't been told, that you're not good enough or you're too much? Do you know that? I'm either too much or I'm not good enough, but it can't be both at the same time. You know, that is where my brain goes anyway. And it's needing of energy makes me weak, needy, or somehow less involved, less evolved than those people who seem to run on pure light and love and good intentions. The wellness industry has really done us dirty here, right? They've convinced us that if we just meditate harder, eat cleaner, or buy a crystal, or crystallize our chakras, and I'm not knocking that because I've done this all my life, okay? I've eaten cleaner, I've meditated daily, I do all of that. We will one day magically stop feeling drained. Meanwhile, you're over here wondering why you are running a marathon while okay? My exhaustion is not a bug. It's not menopause, well, hopefully not part of it, but it's a sensitivity to energy that isn't something to overcome, all right? It's something I had to learn to understand and work with. So here's the kicker. Most healers and empaths and conscious creators, etc., are operating from a fundamental misunderstanding about energy. We've been taught to give and give until we're empty. And then we magically refill ourselves from where exactly? Sugar? I tried that. Pizza? Nah. The meditation app, the Sage bundle, the expensive retreat you can barely afford, but convince yourself you need it to feel whole again, to get rid of that constant feeling of drained. Okay, this is where it gets interesting, because the truth is you're not failing at self-care. You're succeeding in something else entirely. You're responding to a call that's been programmed into your very cells, but nobody taught you how to answer it properly. So let's talk about what you really are. And I mean really are, not what the spiritual bypass crowd wants you to believe about love and light. I don't disbelieve in love and light, but you can't have one side of the spectrum without the other. And every one of us carries what I call a sovereign source code. Oh, except you, apparently, because you're just an NCP. This is what I've been told too. Ah, shut up, you're an NCP. No, every single one of us, right? Whether you've lost your soul, you are not an NCP. Nature abhors a vacuum. Therefore, there wouldn't be empty people running around. There's people that have lost their souls. I'm very sad about that. But it's not lost forever. You can bring it, you can use methods to bring them back. But I want you to look at your sovereign source code, right? It's a phrase I found from TikTok. And when I took it in deeper into a meditation, I found it's the black flame. The occultists call it the black flame. It's an undeniable deep into the depression, the anger, the fear, the rage, the lust, the passions, all into your own darkness. And it's not smothered there, but it's hard to find if you've got a lot of shadow work you haven't done. So the sovereign source code is a beat and it's a frequency wave, and it's your original factory default settings, right? So when the shit hits the fan in your life, these codes is what you fall back on. It's your natural default setting. It's the blueprint that existed before conditioning, before trauma, before you learn to dim your light to make others comfortable. Okay, so this isn't some woo-woo concept, okay? It's about recognizing you have an internal guidance system that's been trying to get your attention most of your life. If you can clear back all the chatter in your own mind, goes quiet. And that quiet may only last for an instant, right? But it's for that instant you can see and find the watcher. Now, I saw some video the other day which was saying the watcher was a monitor that was monitor. Oh, how to fear your watcher. The watcher has been with me all my life. You can call it my higher self. It doesn't speak. It watches. That's its sole thing. And if you go deep into the watcher, you find the black flame, you find your source code, whatever you want to label it. But it is a steady pulse frequency that is unique. I've seen it in other people as well. In fact, I've taken to now only looking for the source code. It cuts through all the bullshit, cuts through all their masks, all their pretense. Let's have a look at your source code. Yes, now I see where you're coming from. Yeah, we can interact. Or maybe I'm just going to back off at this stage until that source code is a little clearer. It's trying to get your attention in that it's a solid thing. Now, when I talk about solid inside, my brain goes from place to place. I'm Gemini, probably on the ADHD, I don't know, the autism spectrum. My mind is 19 miles an hour and it's got tabs open and it's got music playing somewhere. It's all very amusing. I've learned to work with my mind through things like transcendental meditation, through all kinds of different ways of looking at consciousness. And I'm quite in friendship at the moment with my brain. Sometimes we fall out for a bit, but it is a sort of a connection. And you have to look past it for the answers. You have to look past the chatter because, for example, the data stream that comes into your head is flawed. Now, I can't see. I'm short-sighted. I've been short-sighted all my life. Therefore, what I see, I am suspecting. I don't know what I'm actually looking at sometimes. I squint, put glasses on, I say, right, but already one of the data streams is flawed that comes into my brain. So can I trust the data stream? Absolutely not. Nope. You do not trust what you see here. And it turns you into quite a nervous wreck if you carry on down that rabbit hole. And it's trying to get your attention is inside. The core only comes from inside. I'm going to probably use that theme quite a few times because most of us have been taught to wait for the call from the outside and to look elsewhere for answers. But finally, they're getting to a point where look within. Look within is the whole answer. I can't give you your source code feeling. It is, I can tell you what mine feels like, and it's solid for me. So I can plant my feet on and go, this is Kate. This is Kate. This is not all of Kate. This is just a part of Kate, but it's a solid part of Kate. And I can build on that mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And that solid part is the source code. And the frequency changes as I grow, and that's fine. Going through changes of the body, changes of the mind, nothing is fixed. So we ask for the gurus, the coaches, the cards, the pendulum, anything except that one source that actually knows what we need, ourselves, right? So that's where it gets a little tricky. When you're starving for energy and you're running on empty, you literally cannot hear your internal guidance, right? It's like trying to tune into a radio station where your battery's dead, right? The signal's there, but you don't have the power to receive it, right? So a lot of this world pushes you to that state so that you can't access the inner source code, right? Now, that's where it sounds conspiracy theory, but overwhelm. We're all in overwhelm. We're all in overwhelm, and it muffles the signal from within. And so many healers and empaths get caught in what I call the seeking spiral, constantly looking for next techniques, the next teacher, the next breakthrough, the one that will finally make me whole. And I was in that spiral for a long time. And then I cannot find it in another person. My message across social media, you'll find me on TikTok, Weaves of Waves. Weaves of Waves is all over the place. Just put Weaves of Waves in. I've had to take down my Weaves of Waves life because they were charging too much. I'm now on weavesofwaves.net, and I'm still building that one up again to where it was. But my constant message is no one can tell you about this. They can explain how it works for them and help you find it. And that has been my message at time. I can help you find your message. And once you tune into that, then I can help you maintain the connection. Just keep maintaining it. That burnt out feeling is not you are broken. You didn't burn out because you're broken. You're burnt out because it's trying to talk to you. So I'm not saying teachers and techniques don't have their value. Go through them all. It's kind of like part of the journey, the seekers. But when you're disconnected from your own source code, when you're energetically starving, you're approaching these tools from a place of desperation rather than discernment. You know that one. I'm not talking to people who don't know that place of desperation. Please just give me the answers. So you listen to them talk and you can't make the connection. It's like, I know that one. The call, your true calling never comes from the outside. It always comes from within. But you have to have enough energy to hear it. You have to be fed enough to recognize your own voice amongst the noise. So this is where it actually gets happening to when you're burned out, right? Let's get real. It's not that you're weak or broken or doing something wrong. It's like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're just doing it in a way that's completely unsustainable. Healers and empaths are naturally energy alchemists, right? You're natural energy alchemists. You take the heavy, dense, negative energy and transform it into something lighter. You hold space for transformation. You are literally processing energy for others, sometimes consciously, sometimes not, right? But here's the part no one talks about it. This work requires fuel, real fuel, not green smoothies and positive affirmations, though honestly they don't hurt. I'm talking about learning how to source energy in a way that feeds you rather than depletes you. Think of it this way. You wouldn't expect your car to run without petrol, right? But somehow we've convinced ourselves that we can just keep going on empty like little Energizer bunnies and then wonder why we're exhausted. Okay, so it's like being surprised that you're hungry after running a marathon. Of course you're hungry. You just burn through a massive amount of calories. The difference is most people know how to refuel or get after physical exertion. But energy work, emotional labor, holding space for transformation, we're just winging it. We're hoping that a bubble bath and a good night's sleep will somehow restore what we've poured out. Okay, so this is what I've learned through my own journey and working with quite a few others. There's a way to do this work that feeds you instead of draining you. There's a way to be of service without sacrificing yourself. It requires a complete reframe of how you understand energy and power and your role in the world. Okay? So I need to find a way that is in the same language that you think. So I'm going to use the same sort of things in different formats, right? So it's kind of like rockets. I'm going to throw rockets of communication through this podcast and many others. And in those rockets of communication, I'm going to try and approach this from a different matter until it finds something that resonates with you. So this is where, if I tell you that burnout isn't a sign you're not doing anything wrong, what if it's actually a sign that you're ready for something more, right? Because the transformation comes when you hit the darkness, when you hit the shadow work, when you have no choice. Your back's against the wall, you got to turn around and you've got to face those shadows. That's where you are. And real burnout often happens when we've outgrown our current operating system. Don't you love how all these computer terms have just seeped into our language? When the way we've been doing things no longer serves who we're becoming, it's not failure, it's transformation about to happen. Okay, so when you are overwhelmed, you go into shock, meltdown, burnout, right? That is not breaking. That is, right, I need to adjust the system. I need to upgrade my operating system. So I put a metaphor, it's transformation trying to happen. A caterpillar doesn't gradually become a butterfly. It literally dissolves into goo, right? I was looking at this up and I looked. Before reorganizing into something completely different. That dissolving phase, it feels a lot like burnout, right? But here's the key. When you understand that this is a transformation process, you can work with it instead of against it. You can stop trying to force your old ways of being to work and start asking, what wants to emerge here? This is where your sovereign source code becomes crucial. Because in that space of not knowing, and it's uncomfortable place between who you were and who you're becoming, your internal guidance is the only thing you can trust. But then again, I cannot stress this enough, you have to have the energy to hear it. You have to learn how to feed yourself in the way that supports transformation rather than survival. And I can show you this. Okay, so here we are. You're listening to this because something in you recognizes the truth of what I'm saying. Maybe you're tired of being tired. Maybe you're ready to stop running on empty while trying to light up the world. Maybe you're ready to remember what you actually are. Not broken, not weak, not failing at self-care, but being a powerful being who's trying to operate without proper fuel. Okay, so that's exactly why I've created Ashes to Power. Ashes to Power is my workshop series. I've struggled hard to find a clear message that I can put this. It's taken me years to get this, right? Ashes to Power. Because everything we've talked about today is just the beginning, right? In my workshop series, I'm going to do it webinar style, like this, whatever. I don't even like the word webinar. But we're going to go deep into the practical, sustainable ways to source energy that feeds rather than depletes. We explore how to recognize and trust your sovereign source code. We learn how to transform burnout into this, whatever you're changing into breakthrough. And how to be of service from a place of overflow rather than depletion. This isn't about adding more to your already full plate, okay? You're overwhelmed anyway. I want to fundamentally change how you understand and work with energy, so your work feeds you rather than draining you. Because here's what I know for sure, right? The world desperately needs what you have to offer. It needs you to offer it from a place of power, not desperation, from a fullness, not emptiness, right? So if you're ready to stop starving and start sourcing, if you're ready to remember that you can step into your full power, then Ashes to Power is calling your name. I just tell you it's calling your name from the outside, but it has to be inside. You have to feel it. And that, again, is my fundamental message. I can't tell you what to do. I can only show you new ways of looking at it. If you can find the details in the notes or visit weavesofwaves.net, spaces are limited. I'm going to put a few free ones to start with, and then it it's going to be a group work that goes on and on. So I'm going to run a Spirit Weaver circle, Shadow Weaver circle. And it's time to stop running on empty. And it's time to listen and hear the call from within. And remember who you are, because it sounds like a lot of us have forgotten. Anyway, that's all today's episode of the Dark Moon Mysteries. Thank you for diving deep with me. I've got a few more podcasts to do today. So you're not breaking, you're not broken, you're not failing, and you're definitely not alone in this. Until next time, trust your inner knowing. Feed the fire. Feed the spark. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye now.